Okay, our next set here is Classic18-904. This one is called Merry Christmas Lane, and you can see a bustling town with everybody shopping for the holiday season. Here's our toppers. I have one very large, long topper here, and then a number of smaller toppers. And I know that you guys frequently tell me that you have a little bit more challenge with some of these smaller toppers. So I think I've done some fun things to give you some inspiration there. One sheet with two beautiful corner treatments. And upside down. Here's another view of that busy town on into the evening with the moon shining and snow falling. Pretty. Let's see what we did with those. Let's start with that big topper. I did that big topper on a 5x7 card. I covered my card with one of those corners. And I didn't do an awful lot to this one. Oops. Let's see. How did I do that? Oh, here. I did it this way. So you can still see the green and a bit of that border. This was a 3-piece frame set, so as I so often do, I broke that frame into 3 pieces, put the outer frame on foam squares, glued this center strip down flush to my card, put this up on some foam squares. I added Merry Christmas on more foam squares. Then I cut a great big pretty snowflake out of gold and added one of my gold jewel dazzles to the center of that just to add a little extra pizzazz, and I think that card turned out really pretty. Inside, matching border pieces. These borders come off of the throwaway strips in our card, but I thought they matched pretty with my insert paper. Next, here's a card you won't see every day. Let's see what we did here. I made a triple easel card. You can look at this and say, oh my gosh, that's just way too hard to do. But I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's not so bad. Okay, I started by taking a blank 4x8 card, a DL or 4x8 card, and I cut just the face of that card at 2 3/4 inches, and I cut it again at 2 3/4 inches from this side, which left me a 2.5 inch piece in the middle, which gave me 3 relatively even surfaces. Then I scored that card from corner to corner, diagonally across my card, to create these 2 triangles. I scored this one in half, so at 2 inches, and I scored this one diagonally from corner to corner. I cut myself a piece of cardstock that was 4 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches, 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And then I cut that cardstock from corner to corner to match my diagonal folds, and I glued that cardstock in place. I cut myself a piece of cardstock that was 2.5 inches wide by 4 inches tall. I cut that in half and I added it over my scores. And I did exactly the same thing here that I did the first time. I cut a piece of cardstock that was 2 3/4 wide by 4 inches tall, and I cut it in half diagonally and glued it on to match my fold lines here. Then it was just a matter of adding my toppers. By putting your toppers, because these toppers were tall enough that if I put them directly out to the side, 2 things were going to happen. One is that it was going to kind of look cattywampus on my card, so by putting it at a little bit of an angle, it works. And 2, it's not hanging clear off the edge, so it won't fit in my envelope by putting it slightly at an angle. So that works. I put stoppers in here with just using a little piece of my border paper that I have put up on some foam squares here and here. I did use double foam squares. And I created a stopper here the same way, double foam squares. I happen to have used a double layer of foam tape. You could do either one. These flowers here, I wanted them to match exactly, but I liked the softer finish. So I covered my inside of my card with a piece of my insert paper. Then I used another piece of my insert paper to cut these poinsettias. And I made my little sprigs in gold and the centers of my flowers in gold. Added my 'Tis the Season, and I just think that turned out beautiful. I did add, I wanted it to look pretty unfolded as well as folded. So I added some die-cut snowflakes, and I put little sparkles in the center of those. This is off of my Starform Accents sheet, and I just cut a little piece of holographic paper to go in behind that. And this actually was one of the little leftover pieces on my sticker sheet with holographic stickers, and I stuck my star over it and then cut my star out so that it would stick on as a sticker and show that holographic image. Cut some more stickers here. It took a little while to do this, but surprisingly, it didn't take a great long time to do it. And I challenge you to try that because it's really fun to do something totally different and unexpected with your cards. It was a fun way to use 3 toppers and create something really fun and interesting. Here's another way to use up some of those small toppers. In this case, I took a 5x7 card. I may have narrowed this just a little bit. I'm thinking I did. Yeah, I did. I narrowed that down just a little bit. So if you put yours on and you think, wow, mine just doesn't seem to fill as much space. Excuse me, that's because I narrowed mine down a little bit. So I cut about a 1/2 inch off mine, and then I put it on, I covered it with gold mirror board. I put down my background paper. I used border pieces off of my topper sheet to cover the 2 ends. I put my 2 toppers there. I built myself an ivory poinsettia with gold sprigs, put right in the center between the 2 and kind of fanned the sprigs out to pull those 2 pictures together. I think that turned out really pretty. I like it a lot. Inside, matching insert paper for the set. And finally, here's the piece off of our cardstock sheet. Here's that evening scene. Taken from here. I've used the same technique to kind of create an etched effect here. I took a 4x6 card, covered it in gold mirror board. Then I put down my borders and corners right over my gold to kind of create that etched kind of feeling to it. Cut this slightly smaller than I normally would because I really wanted those borders to show. Put a nice little tag here to you and yours. Tied a pretty bow. There you go. Okay, these are the 4 cards that we created from this set. I hope my explanation on this one was good, but if you are needing extra help in making that technique work, and you let me know, I'll do a demonstration video on doing that triple easel card. It's really quite a lot easier than it looks, but I like the way it turned out. It was a lot of fun to do something just totally different. So these are our cards for this set. All of these supplies are available in our store. If you'd like to have links to these products, sign up for our newsletter. I've placed a link to our newsletter in the comments section of this newsletter. I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, and we'll see you next time.